Let me tell you about the most important app of this generation, because if you haven't got it yet, you absolutely need it. This is non-negotiable, lads, because for generations, men like me and you, we were able to view the female form online without persecution, without being made to feel like some sort of degenerate, being forced to scan our faces and enter our details as if we're doing something wrong. But in the UK, that is the new reality. That's the new normal. Well, not under my roof, it's not. And that is thanks to Surfshark. You see, I put my faith in Surfshark because it's a life-changing experience, this. And the best bit about it is its simplicity. You click on Surfshark on your phone, on your computer, on your app, whatever. Click I'm in America, 2 clicks, and boom. All of this nonsense that we're living with is removed, and I can be free to enjoy myself again without having to go through this nonsense. I'm a grown man, for God's sakes. And I can also enjoy football and boxing and fighting and other things that I can now have a little watch of. So if you want to cut through the red tape and enjoy your life to the fullest, download Surfshark immediately, right now. And when you do, please use my code. That would be great. Thanks. Just click the link in the description below, go to surfshark.com/paingame, and you'll get 4 months extra of Surfshark added onto your deal for free. I've given you a lot of content over the years, lads, but just consider this is brotherhood stuff. Do you know what I mean? We got to look after each other in these times. And it's less than the price of a coffee a month, lads. So get it done. It's an easy win, and you'll enjoy it. Big love to the greatness of Surfshark, but for now, enjoy the video. Look at the state of this photograph, lads. That might have been the most brutal fight I've ever seen. The more you watch, the more you are like, how though? How is Fabio Wardley still on his feet? How is he still going? And what do these doctors keep asking him? What kind of test is this man passing in order to continue through this hell? Boxing's a brave sport, innit? Like, and when you're Fabio Wardley and you're the bravest motherfucker in the entire sport, in my opinion, that's not even up for debate now. That says a lot about what kind of man Fabio Wardley is. The fact that Daniel Dubois is the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, and he has done amazingly well to get that. And yet, Fabio Wardley is the one I'm like, what the fuck? This is why boxing is the best sport in the world. It's the best, man. Because the level of drama, the level of like pouring your heart and soul out inside of it, a sporting, I mean, it's combat. It's not sport, is it? Fucking hell. You just don't get that anywhere else. You don't say that in football, man. You don't say that in other sports. This was a moment that these two, but especially Fabio, because of what he gave in there, he'll be remembered for this forever. I've never seen a man take that level of beating and not go down. And here's the thing to remember here. We've seen the middleweights and the lightweights. I'm not being funny. Daniel Dubois is one of the hardest punchers in boxing. To continue doing this at heavyweight and walking through the fire like that, it's just a joke. It's a fucking joke. And I'm going to criticize him. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot he did wrong there. But wow. And when I seen Fabio Wardley put Dubois down in the first 10 seconds, I mean, I think a lot of us would have thought this is going to go on quickly. But I thought it was going to go quickly, I'll admit it, before the fight. I thought Dubois would be the better boxer, but when the power came back in his direction, I didn't think he would take it. And you see him looking immediately at his corner there, which is a classic Dubois sign. But I do think that he composed himself well, considering the situation he found himself in very, very early in this fight. And I think with all the talk about him being a quitter, this is going to help him a lot in future fights to have handled this moment after everything that was said. I was thinking, if you go out early and you look like you gave up in this fight, after multiple times people have said this about him now, it's going to be horrendous for his confidence in the ring. This was just what Daniel Dubois needed. And what surprised me was that Fabio Wardley, being the finisher that he is, he didn't jump on him. Because that first shot, even though it put Daniel Dubois down, it scuffed the top of the head. It didn't land flush the way Usyk landed flush on him. I think Wardley will look back on this moment and go, should have fucking gone for it there. I should have unloaded the clip, because obviously the later the fight goes, the less explosive you are, the more it becomes more about technique and the boxing ability of Dubois. This was a massive opportunity wasted, in my opinion. And it's easy to say that now. Maybe he was wary of what was coming back at him. But there can be no doubt in that first 3 rounds was when Fabio Wardley was at his most dangerous, and he didn't take full advantage of it. And actually, the one thing that I really noticed about Fabio Wardley in the early rounds, even before anything went wrong for him, I was thinking, you don't look as coordinated as usual. Like his fluidity and his movement, his judgment of distance, his punching accuracy. Fabio Wardley has never been the greatest technical boxer, but I thought you look like you've not sparred. He looked like he was having an off night, and ironically, because he dropped him in the first 10 seconds. But if you look at Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney, and you look at him versus Joseph Parker, the guy hasn't been boxing that long, ironically. He can have nights where he's on it and not on it. Dubois has been boxing boxing twice as long. I don't know if there was an injury or whatever. I don't know if anything happened with a lack of sparring. He just looked like nowhere near as coordinated in the way he was throwing his punches at all. All night that was. But you expect that after you get tired. I didn't expect it that early in the fight. Here's the round 3. And this was a very clever way of throwing a punch from Fabio Wardley, because Dubois doesn't really block punches in a classic boxer way, but he does like to keep that arm out and his shoulder really high. And Fabio's just winged it and come right over the top of that shoulder and clipped them right on the top of the head again. But again, you didn't land flush. This knockout isn't just going to land in Fabio Wardley's lap, right? He needs to go out there and chase it now, because with Alexander Usyk, he was able to make Dubois miss so much and get him, you know, searching and chasing for him that he would clip him right on the chin, beautifully, punch perfect. Fabio was not going to do that, and you need to create a chaotic moment, a scramble, to force that issue there, to really put a dent in Dubois. And again, he missed the opportunity. And I've got to give credit to Daniel Dubois for one thing here, because he's hurt, but he's not really you know, ready to go yet. But I think he made a calculated judgment in the heat of the moment here to go down, to take a knee, and to just gather himself. And that's experience that's doing that. People forget he's been boxing since 8 years old. And I think that really helped him through this fight. Because a Fabio Wardley in that moment, I mean, he doesn't go down, does he? And sometimes that's actually the smart thing to do. See, he's fine. He actually was all right, Dubois there. I mean, clearly he got clipped, but he composed himself really well here. And Fabio, again, this is where you go for it, and couldn't make the moment count. And this is where Dubois starts taking over here in round 4. You see that 1-2 straight down the middle, and Fabio Wardley took that pretty fucking flush. I want to give credit to Daniel Dubois, because there's a few things I've always loved about Daniel Dubois' game: his jab and his feet. These are the fundamentals that helped him beat AJ, that helped him beat Fabio Wardley. For a man as big as him, and I've met this guy, right? He's huge, right? For him to move as in and out as much as he does, to control the distance the way he does. Obviously, I don't rate his defense up here, but he keeps himself in a really good spot in the fight in terms of being either in defense or in attack, and he controls what's happening through his feet. And with that footwork, he has a poleaxe of a jab. It's probably the best jab in boxing, if we're being honest right now. He smashes people to bits with his jab, and that's like, you don't really see that, even at the heavyweight level, because when he's coming in with it, he's jumping in and he's using those feet to really put every bit of that 18 stone straight through your skull. Unreal right hand there from Daniel Dubois. And again, just leaning on him, making it miserable. Fabio unable to cope, to really have an answer. And I'll get into this in a minute, because the strategy was baffling. But, you know, this got brutal. This actually became hard to watch, sort of thing. I love Fabio Wardley. He's one of my favourite fighters. Seeing him like this, I mean, yes, the heart was unbelievable. He looked fucked here, and this is round 6, man. And he's fighting, but he looks done here. I don't know how he stayed on his fucking feet, lads. Look at that. His legs buckled, yet somehow, some way, a shred of energy just keeps him on his toes. And by the way, in round 7, he still says, let's fucking have it, let's fucking go. And when he starts swinging with Dubois like this, after the pacing he's been taking, I'm like, you're not normal, you son. You are not normal. And this bozo of a referee steps in right when Wardley is actually getting a little bit of something going for himself after taking a beating for a few rounds. It was the 10-second warning, and he jumps in and stops it at that, and then they don't hit another punch off of each other in the last 10 seconds. That is the kind of stupidity that we've come to expect from the British Boxing Board of Control referees. They are horrendous. Now, I've only got the highlights here, so they've skipped the round 11 at the finish, but this was just, I mean, we really don't get to see just how well Dubois boxed and how well he used the jab and how dominant he was, but also the little moments that Fabio would give you, the glimmers of hope where you're like, God, there's still something left in this guy. What the fuck? I thought this would be fight of the year. How does anyone top that? It was unbelievable, but there was a lot of criticism for how long it took to stop this fight. You could have easily stopped it after round 9, maybe even earlier, to be honest with you. And Ben Davison is getting criticism for not stopping it earlier. On the one hand, you understand why you give Fabio more time than a normal fighter, right? He's proven that he's not normal. This is the heavyweight division. division. He's turned fights around when you never thought it was possible. I think we'd gone beyond the point that was going to happen for a little while before it was stopped. So I agree with some of that criticism for Ben. One of my main points of criticism would be for Ben, and this isn't all on him. Fabio's his own man. He's got to do whatever Ben tells him to do. I don't know what the fuck Ben told him to do, but I tell you what I would hope. I would hope through watching it, I could tell what the game plan was. And honestly, I ain't got a fucking clue, mate. The same way I didn't have a clue when Anthony Joshua was fighting Daniel Dubois. I didn't have a clue then either. There's 2 fights now I've watched Ben coach a fighter against Daniel Dubois and looked like their worst version of themselves. And part of that is the Dubois jab. It's what Dubois does well, obviously. But what was the game plan? There was little things like in the first round when he does land that right hand, he sort of seems to knock Dubois' hand out the way in order to land that right hand. Clever little moment. But like, what else? We haven't got it in these highlights, but Fabio was winging shots from a mile away, just loading up on that right hand, falling over. I've never seen him look that bad in terms of punching accuracy, distance, judgment. He missed a 6'5", 250-pound man like so many times. I'm like, this isn't world level boxing, actually. It's fucking elite level heart, elite level grit and determination. But the skill set that Fabio showed in there, I think when he watches it back, he'll be disappointed in himself. And I think rightly so, because I think he can be better than this. Would that have been enough? Probably not. But it just spam right hands and barely even get on your jab, barely set anything up. It just looked like there was no thought going on. It was, I just got to land this one big right hand. And like, we've seen Fabio do that a couple of times and obviously pull it off, but in this instance it looked like he was missing so much by so far. It was just, nah, this isn't good enough, this, like. And especially after that AJ fight where obviously that was basically roll the dice was what the game plan was at a point in that fight. I gave Ben the benefit of the doubt in a sense of like, well, maybe AJ just didn't execute the game plan properly. I'm looking at this fight like, what is the game plan, man? What is I don't know. No idea. Winging right hands, hoping for a fucking Hail Mary. That's all I could say. But look, I don't want to be too negative about Fabio when you've showed that level of heart. The guy is the best value for money in boxing. No questions asked. If you're buying a Fabio Wardley fight, you spent your money well. And ultimately, the people who disagreed with me in saying that Fabio's kind of gone life and death with a couple of fighters who, you know, don't hit as hard as Dubois, and Dubois will make him pay for those mistakes. That was spot on, that. That boxing education that Daniel Dubois has had, it showed. And I'm happy for Daniel to be able to say, not only did he win, but he got up off the canvas twice, and then he won, you know? I think that adds a lot, and it will mean even more after all the criticism he's had of being a quitter and all of that. A lot of people will rewrite history and say that proves he's not a quitter. Well, for a start, I just disagree with this whole quitter thing. Like, everyone has a quit point. Everyone does. Other than Fabio Wardley. But Daniel Dubois was getting hit flush, and he didn't get hit flush by Fabio Wardley. And Fabio didn't create that moment, and he's going to kick himself for that. The opportunity really was there, and he fucked it. Now, the problem this fight gives us is no one wants to watch Daniel Dubois fight Alexander Usyk. Like, no one. Where do we go from here? And for me, the answer is very obvious. Moses Atoma versus Daniel Dubois. I do not want to see a rematch. There's a rematch clause. Do I want to see a rematch? This was a dominant win for Dubois. Yes, he was down a couple of times, but like, the beatdown was so one-sided for the remainder of it that like, I don't think it would be good for Wardley to go straight back in there. I think Wardley should go and fight another fight and learn how to put his skills together more and not just be winging right hands, and prove to himself that he's improved enough to even have a fight like this. And with Moses Atoma being the stablemate of Fabio Wardley, being the big hope of boxing right now, this is it. This is your world title. This is the moment. And if I'm his coach, maybe I go, oh, do I want to give him another couple of more fights at this level? But man, Daniel Dubois didn't look comfortable with a southpaw in Alexander Usyk. Oh, granted, it's the greatest fighter of all time, arguably, but like, you could go there, grab that belt, and potentially make history as one of the youngest champions of all time. The storyline is there, you know, Fabio's his good mate from the box in the same gym, all of that shit. It would just be fucking epic. It would be so entertaining, and I don't really want to see either of them fight Usyk. This is who is the king of the future. That's the only fight I want to see from Dubois next, to be honest. I don't really, there's no one else. Caballel, maybe. But Moses would be the one for me. That'd be a dream fight, because then we'd find out a lot about both of those guys. Fuck me. But that's all I've got to say. I've got to give credit to both men. I know I've given my critique, but it's not personal. I love them both. They're both great fighters. But one thing that I am really impressed by is the fact that Fabio Wardley's first voluntary defense, he picked the hardest dog in the yard. A fight 95% of fighters would swerve. Do you know what I mean? There's no way if Tyson Fury does this. First voluntary defense, pick the Daniel Dubois. There's no way. And also credit to Daniel Dubois, after a knockout defeat, taking on the champion. No warm-up fight the way Tyson Fury does, for example. I'm not meaning to give shit to Tyson Fury. I'm just giving examples of like the way boxers operate. Both of these blokes in their prime showed balls and gave the fans the fight they wanted to see. Big respect for that, for both of them. Because this is what AJ and Fury didn't give us in their prime. This is what we should have had, and we never got it. And now hopefully we'll get it eventually. Will it look like this? I doubt it. This was fucking fantastic. Credit to both men. And look, hopefully I'm wrong about AJ and Fury. Maybe it will be a bloodbath like this, but what a fucking fight, lads. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to The Pain Game. I'll see you on the next one.